Is this like Joe Rogan where we just start talking and then?
It should be.
Or like Always Sunny, where it's like, we're starting now. Someone's late.
Oh,
Someone's got to be 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
No, because that's a comedy podcast.
And with that, welcome to the Contractor Growth Network podcast. Logan is out of town. Ian has car troubles. So I'm joined by Sean and Aaron, our video marketing department team. Aaron being the director and Sean being, what do we call him? Sean being Sean.
Just a stooge.
Yeah, just a stooge.
But while half the CGN team was traveling for the past 3 weeks, going to conferences in Philadelphia, Chicago, and Denver, Aaron and Sean were also the traveling men in the office, going to California, Arizona, and Rhode Island. And so earlier, you guys have heard different podcasts about Ian, myself, and Logan kind of sharing our experiences from the conference. But I actually wanted to flip it over to these guys to talk about their experience filming clients and how the development of the video marketing offer has gone. Because from where it was earlier this year to where it's at now, it kind of feels night and day. So Aaron, Sean, welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited to be a stand-in.
So, guys, first off, tell me about where the offer is now compared to where it was when we last had you on the podcast for this. This was 4 months ago probably at this point.
Maybe longer than
Yeah.
that.
Definitely longer.
It was definitely the last hockey season.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, so the video marketing offer at CGN. So we've been working on this for, 18 months now probably.
Yeah.
It's how long we've been working on these. And so the current state of it is basically we are helping contractors. We have our onboarding meeting where we'll talk to them about hey, what kind of videos do you need for your business and what would really be helpful for your ideal client to understand more about you. Really at the heart of it, the entire, Sean, you can tell me if you have different thoughts on this.
Sure.
But the entire goal of all of this is really, in my head, to show your potential clients what it's like to be a client. Whether that's through testimonials, through project walkthroughs, through meeting the team members, your process video, your unique story video. All of them have this same idea of showing who you are and introducing yourself to your prospects before you ever get out. And so, these last 3 trips we went on, that's what we did. And every company is different, and we're finding that more and more as we go on trips. So we continuously adapt to whatever their needs are. But the general mission's always the same, and it's doing that.
Sean, what are your thoughts on it?
yeah, no, that's there's a lot of things that's about. It's not just about that, but that is the most important thing is showing your client what it's like to work with you or for them to be a client, along with also hitting the SEO stuff, right? Having videos on your website, having a social presence with video. It's just king nowadays. So overall, yeah, it's that, but it's a lot of little things.
I think one of the coolest things that I've been able to watch secondhand for both of you guys is really crafting what the offer actually needs to be. Because I know, Aaron, when Logan approached you hey, do you want to take this over? We had an idea for it's it should be this, but then implementing client feedback and kind of realizing, all right, this is the thing that they actually need. I know that's been one thing that has been very much at the forefront of your mind, and your willingness to kind of shape that. So I know just a good example would be the FAQ videos or the Meet the Team, where it's yes, they have their value, but realizing it's not something that every contractor absolutely needs.
Yeah, so at first we were doing a lot of packages of videos, and we still have some of that because people don't know what they need. But what we do is sometimes in our pre-video meetings, what we'll do is we'll go over what the needs for the actual company are, because we will go into some and see, okay, there's no need to do FAQ videos for you, because what you really need is you're trying to get Sebastian Sanchez, for example, with Greenwave,
Yep.
His big thing was he was trying to get from just kind of landscaping maintenance kind of jobs. That's the way he started off, and he was really trying to get into these really high level outdoor living spaces. And so for his package, we specifically were trying to target getting more of that kind of job. And so what that looked like is okay, let's try and get more testimonials about that job, and let's go visit more of those projects. And right now his team isn't the best. Like he's kind of trying to.
I don't know if I'd say it isn't the best. It's just like anybody else right now, struggling to keep employees or finding employees that want to do the work.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to grow the team.
Yeah.
And kind of he's looking for that stable foundation in his team. So it's like, okay, so meet the teams aren't as important for you right now because who knows if things are going to switch up in the future. Let's take the resources we would have put to that and now put it more towards these big projects. So we've been doing a lot of that, and it's really just been trying to figure out the needs of what the clients are. So, we've added things like a recruitment video. We've gone in and kind of combined our project walkthroughs and testimonials to one big all-encompassing project video that's a very HGTV, and you get the client's perspective, you get the contractor's perspective, you get the beautiful looking home in it. And so all of those things we're just kind of finding as we go and listening to what contractors actually need, because we had a guess at first, but we're lucky enough to be in the position that we're actually in the homes of these contractors, multiple times a month sometimes, depending on how often we're traveling. But we're able to actually understand the industry better and see with our own eyes like what the problems they're dealing with and things are. So it's been really good to get that kind of feedback from people, and create more custom packages like that.
And so you two both now lead your own kind of shoots. Sean, you just led your first shoot recently.
Yep.
What can somebody expect when you guys step on site for their projects?
Well, I don't think that's really changed. So we come at it with just we figure out what they want, like Aaron's saying, and then we just, we have the meetings to set up the scripts and essentially anything that needs to be done for that video. We come out there and then we shoot those videos. So I don't know if that's what you were asking.
I think what he means more of is like, what's the experience like?
Experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's actually a really good one, because a lot of people don't realize how much fun it actually is. We have I don't know if we've had a trip where they didn't want us to leave. Or like,
well,
the other way around. I don't know if we've had a time where they wanted us to leave. Essentially, people come into this and they're usually very nervous because no matter how much we show you, like behind the scenes, and then we prep you in the meetings, you can't really know what it's like to be on that camera or in those shoots until you're in them. So they're usually nervous going into it. But once they start it and they get a little bit relaxed, they realize how much fun it is, and they just don't want it to end. I think even at Lua, we're on our last day, and Brittany, she was like, I don't want you guys to leave. Like, it was... cool. It was heartfelt, right? So it's a lot of fun to shoot these videos. And then I think at the very end, like actually seeing the final product, you see yourself on camera, you see how your company's represented. It's just very exciting.
Yeah. So I'll flesh that out a little more. So it's what we do is in our pre-meetings, we'll come up with, hey, here's the videos that we're going to shoot for you. And we talk about that, how we get that list. Then we go through and we create, here's a shot list of all the things that we need to accomplish while we're out there, and we'll go ahead and put it on a schedule. And so then before we ever get out there, we will have printed copies of here's what we're doing right then we're headed to here, and then traveling from here to this location, and then we're checking things off throughout the trip to make sure that we get everything covered because they're quick trips. And so then once we're all prepped and ready, we'll come fly out. Typically, we'll come a day early, get some dinner that night, which is an interesting thing. Like, we just did it at first just because I think, like, it was kind of haphazard at first. I think we just had the time, so we did it. But now what we've seen is it's, like, absolutely crucial to the videos, ironically, because, like, the more comfortable that you are on camera, the better you'll perform. And so...
Yeah, I can't remember who said it, but there was somebody that put that really in perspective, where if we didn't do that dinner the night before, like when we started shooting on Tuesday or Wednesday morning, they're like, we already knew you after all the meetings. We felt comfortable with you, and without that, it would feel weird just jumping right into those videos. So that was...
Yeah, because we know it's weird being on camera. Honestly, the thing that you don't realize is a big part of your job when you start becoming a videographer is you don't realize a lot of what you're going to have to do, and a lot of what we do now is making people feel comfortable, guiding people through things. Like there is a massive part of the job is, hey, Mike, I know you're not comfortable on camera. I understand that completely. Here's all the things I'm going to do to make it easier on you. And so it's like maybe something like that is like if you're uncomfortable looking directly at the camera, it's like, okay, for this one, let's put the camera off to the side and you can just talk to me and we'll have a conversation. And then that will shoot from the side and you don't even have to think about it. And so really what we try to establish for the videos is we try to have a really good time on the shoots, and we try to make you feel as comfortable as possible with the videos, because all of that, while also being enjoyable, makes the experience more enjoyable, also comes out in the final product. So it's like that's a kind of a perk that we get to have a good time on these shoots and everything, because it's actually necessary for the videos themselves. So we'll go through the shot list, and it's very structured. We have everything. We always schedule in more time than we need for things, because things always go crazy. There was a time we were in.
I already know the story.
We were in Michigan. Yeah.
Yep.
And we got our Kia Soul stuck in a
off-roading
with Nick Hewitt, and that was great. So then, good old country people, one of the neighboring farms, he got his truck on over and helped us.
He pulled us out.
Yeah, he pulled us out.
Yeah.
But we had time allotted for it. We didn't know we were going to need it, but we had it.
We were ahead of schedule until that happened.
Yeah, and then we were right back on.
Right back on schedule.
We were right back on.
Yeah.
So we always try and make them fun and light, and I think that's actually like a big responsibility we have when we're there.
I think I have footage of that, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I took footage of that.
Funny.
Can we get that footage?
I can send it to you.
Cool.
That's why I brought it up. Yeah,
Cool.
I can definitely send it to you.
So coming off these last 3 trips for you guys, has there been like one or two like just key takeaways or like things that stand out where it's like, this was a great trip? Or I guess like what are like the things that impact how well a shoot actually goes?
Yeah, all the trips are different.
Yeah.
There's some common thread lines, though. I'll start with one, Sean, and then you
Sure.
can do another one.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that is always going to make it better is having buy-in from you and your team. So I don't know of the listeners here who has seen Addie Merrick's recruitment video.
But watch the breakdown of it on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Nice plug. And that one, a lot of people are like, wow, I want a video like that. That one's so fantastic. And one of the things that made that so fantastic is like Addie came prepped. She knew her script, and everybody on the team was willing to like play along. It's a very fun video. If you haven't seen it, it's kind of like those Dollar Shave Club ads, things like that. So we have the team all in on it, and they're kind of like playing characters in the video, and it's like intentionally kind of cheesy because that fits with Merrick's brand. And so that's just one aspect of like videos like that aren't possible if you aren't really bought into it and your team's not really bought into it. It's something that you need to really go all out for. This is a big investment for people, and we understand that. So it's like, hey, let's take it seriously and really invest.
Yeah, I'd say mine's relatively in the same vein. It's really about prep. I mean, we do these meetings prior to the shoots for multiple reasons. What we've seen a lot is the people who like Addie Merrick, and there's several others, but the ones who actually go through our scripts, and I mean, not necessarily scripts, but outlines that we make for each video, the ones who actually review those before, they tend to do better in video. So prepping is very important. Being on those meetings is important. We've seen some that the meetings get pushed back or they just weren't able to make it, and that happens, but just know that it affects the videos. These videos are, essentially the baseline of your marketing for the next 3 to 5 years, and it's a big cost in many ways. So you got to be on those meetings. You got to prep before the actual videos. We give you a booklet, a guidebook, that really will help you know everything you need to know about the videos. So that's really important. I had one more.
I think also client testimonials and going out to good projects. I mean, that because what we do is we're going to take all of this footage and it's going to be all over your website, all over your social media. Just think about like if there were projects that's like, man, if everybody could see this project, they would know what we're capable of. That's exactly what we're going to do while we're out there. I mean, that's what happened with the Hewitts. You know, it was like one of their biggest projects they had done, this lake house vacation home getaway. And so we got a great testimonial from the clients, great video walkthrough. And now, you know, Nick said the other day he sold $750,000 home. It was like the easiest sell ever because people could see what it was going to look like before they move forward. So it's thinking about that kind of stuff beforehand and don't put that stuff off. And if clients are kind of hesitant about, maybe we can make that work, it's like be assertive with them and be like, no,
I was just about to ask, how do you go about asking a client if you can use them for a testimonial?
Yeah, so it's a good question. And what we've done in the past is we've kind of like walked our clients through, hey, here's some details you can tell them and things like that. But on our last trip with Fry Remodeling, actually, one of the things we mentioned that was going to be beneficial was I built out over the last couple of weeks a 3-page document. Sounds more fancy than it is, I guess. What it is it's a document from CGN that you can send over to your client, a PDF, and it answers some of the most frequently asked questions about testimonials. It shows them some examples of what these testimonials we've done in the past are, and it also just introduces them to who we are, how long we'll need to be in their space, and all those. So then our clients won't have to handle all those details and all those objections as well, because it really is a massive part of the experience.
Yeah.
And so we added that in an attempt to make it even easier for people to say yes. You know, the same kind of deal. If they know what they're saying yes to, they're going to be more likely. Because that's absolutely massive to the videos.
Yeah, and that's actually really evolved too. Like originally, we'd kind of haphazardly be like, oh yeah, we need your client, and then it turned into we need your client for 30 minutes. Oh, actually, we need them walk through, so we need their house for this. So that's actually really evolved a lot too. So now it's a whole 3-page document too. Another thing to think about too is having the right people doing the right videos. We've found if you're like, there are some larger companies like the owner isn't a part of every single aspect of the job anymore, and they tend to struggle a little bit more because it's not their everyday thing. So having the right people do, like if you're doing FAQ videos, but you're not the one making the sales, you don't know every aspect, you're going to struggle more than your salesperson. So having them, like having the right people do each video is also relatively important as well.
Yeah, that's massive for a lot of people, for sure.
And it's not that they can't do it. It's just like some videos might double in time, like shooting time, to get that through.
Is there a moment on these last few trips that have really just like stuck out or resonated with you when it comes to somebody kind of getting like that unlock or maybe like a confidence boost as they're on camera and like as like they're walking like through the projects they've done, listen to like a client like talk about their business?
Yeah, Gary Houghton of Houghton Contracting. It was an early one we did. The first thing we did was his client testimonial, and you can tell he was still a little bit nervous. And like after hearing that, I mean, just the boost that he got from like that confidence that from a client that he had for years. I mean, that was a huge for him on camera.
Yeah, that's a cool experience. We've seen, because a lot of contractors, like you put in all of this work on your projects and you care about the small details and you really try to make it absolutely perfect for the clients. And you don't do it for the recognition. You don't do it for the thank yous. But that doesn't mean it's not nice to see when your hard work is actually recognized. And so we've seen that with a lot of contractors. I mean, just recently, last trip we were on, Fry was talking about it. And we had 3 different testimonials that he was a part of. And he was like, man, it was just crazy because you do this day in and day out and you kind of forget how you actually are affecting people. Like you know it in the back of your mind, but to actually hear people say it, and it's different I think it's beneficial having a third party there do the interview, because it could be awkward being like, hey, what were your thoughts on me?
Why was I so great?
Yeah. And so it's like, it's really great because we sit down and we will control the interview with your client, and then you can sit off to the side and then just kind of like enjoy it. Like it's just a third party person coming in and being like, hey, can you tell me about your experience with them? and obviously they're all glowing reviews and everything. And so with Joe, it's like, yeah, it's really helpful because it like shows me why we do this, and it helps me out during sales calls, because then you have that same confidence going into them, and knowing what you were able to impact other people. And so then for like like a lot of the contractors we used to work with, and earlier on, it was like confidence in your pricing was a big thing we were always talking about. And I'm sure there's still tons of companies dealing with that. And like understanding your real impact will definitely help you understand your pricing and not back down from that. So that's an awesome like byproduct of it as well.
Speaking of Joe, I know you guys were actually on site with another videographer as well, and this person was local. So kind of how does that break down when you have you guys come in and there's also another videographer? Like, what's that dynamic supposed to look like in that case?
Yeah, I mean, I literally just had a phone call with a contractor yesterday, and they had a question that was a fair question. They said, well, can you explain to me why it would be better to pay you guys to fly all the way out and film when I have video people here? Like, we've done some video work before. And I was like, what? It's a great question. Do you have?
No, we're good.
Oh, it's a great question. What I can tell you is that there's a massive difference between hiring somebody who knows how to work a camera and hiring somebody who comes from a marketing company specifically for contractors, who, by the way, also knows how to use a camera. Like, massively different. And that's not to downplay anybody else.
Sure, yeah.
So when we were out there with Fry specifically, he had a photographer and videographer there. And so what we were able to do is he could come in and see kind of like what were we getting as far as like storylines for the videos, and what was the messaging we were putting out, and how were we doing things. Because there's a great kind of partnership there where he has more technical expertise than we do in photography.
I'd say it's different. It's different. It's not. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
He is far more specialized in the technical aspects of that.
Yeah.
But the problem is that doesn't do as much if it's not actually paired with the marketing mindset and actually understanding what your clients need to hear and things like that. And so kind of the way that breaks down is he comes out, and different clients have done this before too. This was not the first time by any means that people have done this. It's a great relationship to be like, hey, I have a video person here, or I have somebody, maybe it's like on one trip it was like, hey, my daughter is looking at kind of doing this stuff for us, just social media, get her involved and things like that. And so it's like, cool, let's help you kind of see these are the things to be looking out for, these are the questions to ask and things like that, because it's way different having somebody come out and film your home just as like a real estate video versus like telling an emotional story about how you're able to impact a client. And so that's kind of how that dynamic works out, is we kind of pair that technical expertise with the actual marketing mindset.
Sean, anything to add to that?
Yeah, the only thing I would add is if you are looking for someone in your area, a good question to ask is whether they know of the Ask You Answer and the visual sale. Because one conversation I've had before in the past, I've brought it up and he had no clue what I was talking about.
What are those things for those that are listening and they have no idea? What it is?
Sure, yeah. They Ask You Answer is essentially like the Bible for video marketing nowadays, or content marketing these days. So it's a book by Marcus Sheridan. The Visual Sale is his second one with I can't remember the guy's name, but essentially it's what this whole video thing is based off of. So if you want to know the right questions to ask and the right content to make video-wise, those are the great places to start.
Both are available on audiobooks as well if you are somebody that likes those compared to actually reading like I do. Last question for you both. Where does the video marketing offer kind of go from here? Where do you guys see it going? Because again, like the evolution that we've seen, honestly, like going from, all right, we're going to do meet the team videos to now we're only going to do it if you need to. We're heavily focusing on telling the stories of your projects, yourself, and of your clients. What's kind of like that next step for you?
Yeah, I think it's increased customization and optimization for each company. Ironically, I think we started from a package-based route, just based off this is what we think is best. And as we've been doing it more and more for people, it's like I said earlier, we still have that package there, but it's really more of let's talk and understand your business. And everybody who does this, they start with a marketing strategy, right? And so building off of that marketing strategy of like, here's the things you really need for your business. And so maybe that's more videos and they are shorter or something like that, or maybe it's fewer specialized videos. I think that's kind of the future of it, is continuously getting more custom for each project that we need. What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to all the advancements we're doing in all these videos. I mean, the customization of the packages is a great step, but like what we're doing now with these videos, like they've come a long way. Like right now, I'm working on one of Lua's walkthrough videos, and possibly like I think it's one of my better videos, even though from the original A cut doesn't really looks a little rough, but like once you see the whole thing, kind of looks like it could be on HGTV, right? So I'm looking forward to more of stuff like that for all of our clients, and then essentially just building this a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the last thing is we're finding that we're focusing more on the projects themselves, highlighting those. I mean, we're doing that with our web department right now as well, building out these project highlight pages and things like that. So I think we'll definitely continue down that road of having one HGTV looking video for your company, and then future, because we're still making moves on this. But what we've talked about, and then Ian, director of marketing, he was mentioning having ads that we can run for people from these videos. Somebody's in their home watching HGTV, and then in between in the commercials, they're in your actual service area. They'll get an ad for you that looks just like the content that they're trying to watch. And so it's actually engaging for them. It's not like, oh, here's another ad. It's like they're watching the channel and saying, oh, they're already envisioning their own home. Like that's what you do when you watch these shows. And then who pops up? A local remodeler that says, here's what we were able to do in a home 2 miles from you. And then all of a sudden it becomes real for people. And so I think that's a future step as well. That would be pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, fellas, thank you so much for joining me on today's episode and kind of sharing light on a deep dive into what it looks like when we come out and do video for you. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave us a review wherever you are listening, and also sign up for our social media masterclass with a link down below, happening on Friday, October 27th from 12 to 2 Eastern. It's myself, Mark Pankowski from Premier Ponds, Sam Bates from Grassroots Pond and Garden, and Spencer from SB Mowing, who has over 20 million followers on social media. We're going to be teaching you guys the ins and outs of how to leverage video throughout social media and to impact your business. We'll see you in the next episode.